Hey, welcome back. We're going to get this hydraulic fluid changed today, and we're going to also get that Sentinel taken off, of course, so we can get to the filter. But I wanted to show you what the pine straw rake does to the trails as far as clearing just the small debris off. It does a really good job. And here you can see this is a little pile of some of the stuff I brushed off. Just a really good job. And here's kind of another view. I call this like the traffic circle part of the trail. You can see it got all that little debris, sticks and stuff. It really got it off really well. There you can see another pile. And yeah, that really does a good job of cleaning up those trails. Very happy with that pine straw rake. But that is not the purpose of today's video. We gotta get back to work here and get that hydraulic fluid changed on the Massey GC. So we got the Permatran in the filter, and this shouldn't be too bad. The first thing I'm going to have to do though is get the Sentinel off. So it looks like it's 9/16 or 14 mil. So this is really hard to film, so I'm just going to take those bolts out and get that thing off. Well, that was step one. It took two bolts out, and then the Sentinel was here and just slid right out of the way as soon as I loosen that one. So that should be enough to get in there, as long as I can get my hand on the hydraulic filter and take it off. I mean, I guess I could have taken the main bolts off here, but they're, well, I guess I could have done it that way too, but I did it this way. And here's our Blackstone container, so that'll be the next step. I did just crank on that hydraulic filter just a little bit, and it's definitely coming loose by hand. So now I'm gonna drain. I'll let it start draining a little bit, and then I'm gonna grab my oil sample to send off to Blackstone. All right, here we go. And that goes quick. So the filter's off. Of course, we're going to cut that baby open and, you know, compare it to, so we can compare it to the aftermarket ones. But I think we're good there. We'll go ahead and get that new filter on. All right, you're missing a lot here, but I got that new filter on. So now I'm going to get this pan out of here and get this Sentinel plate bolted back on. We're off topic here, but look at those scratch marks. I knew this was tight, and here's maybe a better view. You can see there. Now let me get up under the tractor, and you should be able to see. I'll try to circle it on screen where that baby's rubbing. So I'm gonna, I guess, send this video or snip of this to Mark, because I don't want to go online slamming them until I get, you know, maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm the dumb here and I'm doing something wrong. So we'll see what he says. There we go, 83 hours. So next up's the suction filter. All right, here we go. There's the suction filter. So here it is. I've got new O-rings and everything. So we're gonna pull that baby out of there and see how good or bad it looks. All right, we got her unscrewed. Let's get her out of there. Here she is. All right, here we are. I see a couple little fines, but basically pretty clean. So we'll just rinse it off with diesel and or kerosene and throw that baby back in there. It's time to refill here now, but I think what you guys really want to see is oil going through that sight glass. So let's look at that. Okay, I'm going to set you up here, and you can see the sight glass as I refill. It's 2.9 gallons it's supposed to take. I think I've got about 3.5, well, probably about 4 gallons of oil here. So here we go. All right, so there we are at the end, but of course I need to start up, fill the filter. I'm assuming that filter has an anti-drain back valve in it. I'll find out when I cut it open, but I'm gonna have to run it around some and then check this level again. All right, we're back on level ground. We're running now. Here's that sight glass. I'll just keep an eye on it for a while. So I will tell you one thing. I started it up and then I waited about 30 seconds. Then I tried to lift this 3-point and it did not lift. So I think after you change the fluid, let it run. Crank it up, you know, let it idle for a couple seconds, then crank it up for a while before you try to touch these hydraulics. But of course, before I change the fluid at all, just like the manual says, everything was down. 3-point down. I even unhooked the rake so it'd go all the way, and the loader was down, the bucket was curled in all the way. Now this is cool and interesting. Pay attention. The loader's all the way down, the bucket's curled all the way back up, and the 3-point's down. Okay? Engine's off. I've run it for a little bit, and you can see, look at that sight glass. We're about where we were when I filled it in this state. So when I came out here a few minutes ago, 3-point was up, engine was off. I was inside for 10-15 minutes washing up. Loader was up, bucket was in the air, and that sight glass was completely empty. So I wonder if some guys change their fluid and then run off, and then things are up in the air and they look at their sight glass and they see the sight glass is empty and they add more, and then they end up overfilling. I wonder if that's what some people do, but I try not to do that. All right, let's switch gears and talk about this PTO plate. So I've got the old one. I've labeled them because I kept getting them confused, and the new one. So I'll tell you a little bit about what has gone down here the past couple of days. So I emailed the company, RetailREMS, and they sent me a new plate. And I appreciate that. You know, I didn't ask for that. He just said, hey, maybe something's wrong with that one. Maybe I bent it during the install. Maybe it was just a defect out of the gate, or something was a little off with it. So he did not hesitate, and he sent me the new one, and I greatly appreciate that. So when I got the new one, and I still haven't installed it yet, or even tried to install it, the first thing I did was measure it and to kind of look at the fit and the dimensions and the shape of it. So I'll put that on the screen here now, a couple pictures and the video showing that. So these two plates are definitely different. They have a little bit different dimensions and a little bit different angle on the PTO part of the plate. So that obviously is going to make a difference in the install. Whether that is positive or negative, I'm not sure, with respect to hitting the cooling fins on the hydrostatic transmission housing. That's what I'm primarily worried about. I'm not worried about getting every millimeter of clearance to give me more space to get in there to hook up a mid-mount PTO shaft. I just don't want this plate rubbing that hydrostatic transmission cooling fin, and then a knock of this overall plate anywhere, causing this plate to bop into that fin and break it in a scenario where otherwise maybe it wouldn't have broke because of the way the stick would have hit up underneath the tractor. So that's my overall objective. What I'm going to do now is to install this new plate, and we're going to see how it goes. Well, I'm under the tractor and I've got the new plate kind of bolted in. I mean, I don't know if I have that in there wrong. I really just don't, I don't have every bolt tightened down, but even if I just like pinch them and shore it up, all it does is make it even tighter against that fan, those cooling fins. I've got a piece of paper in there right now and it's pinched. All right, so that's clearly not going to work for me. I'm not going to put that new plate in like that. So here's what I did. Here's the old plate. And I ground the end off so I'd have room to bend it. I probably didn't need to grind that much, but I just made it flat. And now this angle was 32. It's now at 28. So we're going to put this baby up in there and we're going to see if it's rubbing. All right, and then super hard to film here, but I've got a piece of paper going through there now. No problem. Plenty of room front to back. And you can even see if I push up on it, there's room. And I clear that grease fitting. And then even up in here, it's pretty good. It's pretty snug fit. There's room. So I don't think grinding those tabs off really hurt me any, but it did let me decrease that angle. All right, and that is a wrap. I'm done changing this hydraulic fluid for the season, and I'm done making mods to the Sentinel skid plate from RetailREMS. It's a very sturdy product. I just made some mods. I slid the U-bracket forward, which there is some adjustability there. I did that to clear the fuel hoses. That's in the prior video. When I did that, it blocks the Zerk fitting, so I cut out around the Zerk. And now in this video, as you just saw, I cut down that PTO portion of the plate and put a little bend on it. It's just that I don't want anything I put on my tractor to try to protect the tractor to actually end up causing harm to the tractor. Especially, I don't want causing harm to a part that would be really, really hard to replace and super expensive if it did break something off there and maybe cause a leak in the housing. So that's just how I'm going to do it. If you've got one of these, I'd love to hear in the comments what your experience is with it. Can you get a piece of paper in between that PTO protection plate and the cooling fins? Or is yours tight and rubbing too? The manufacturer told me they haven't had any reports and many sales here of this problem. My perspective is there might be a whole lot of people out there who don't know what they don't know. Because it's certainly not the kind of thing that you're up in there, checking out all the time, or even really thinking about it. So again, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So if you have any questions about either the skid plate and what I've done here, criticisms of what I've done here, or any questions about the hydraulic oil change filter products, anything like that, post them in the comments. I monitor the comments. I'd be happy to reply. As always, I appreciate you watching. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.